Hey everybody, how you doing? Hey Coke, good to see you, man. And David's here, and Dean. This is getting back to what we've been doing quite some time ago. Getting back to some regular live streaming. Let me know how the level is. I got a couple different mics working here. We are going to be just hanging out tonight, spending some time together like we did back in the day. And I've got some stuff rigged up here. I got the pedal cam. Let's see if we can get the pedal cam going. We got the pedal cam going here. We're just gonna hang out. We're gonna talk some guitar. I'm drinking the strong stuff tonight, the Gatorade. And oh, awesome. Let's see who else is here. David's here. Dean says, I just sent off my weekly video. Thought I better do it before. That's right. Who knows what we're going to do tonight. We're going to get into some stuff tonight. Evan's here. Good to see you, Evan. Evan's been super busy. Great to have you back around, man. So if the audio is okay, if everybody can hear me all right, I got a couple different ways I can run it. Just let me know. Give me a 1 in the chat. That'll help. We talked this week about getting some different sounds on the guitar. And we all kind of get in a rut and we find one good sound and we just keep repeating it over and over and over and over again. So tonight I've got my just typical stuff. And I thought we would, it says audio's okay if a little low. Okay, let me see here. Check, 1, 2. Tell me if that's a little bit better. How about that? Check, 1, 2. That should be a lot louder. It's a lot louder in my ears right here. So, yeah, so I'm just gonna take the stuff I usually use. I actually wanted to use my old crate amp. That's great. Okay, good. That's good. But it had been in storage and I just broke it out a little while ago, and it needs to be gone over cleaning. It didn't do so good in storage. So I've got the DSL 50. Let's see if we can. It's running through my little isolation cab, little Axe track. I don't know if you guys have seen that before. I've got it on the clean channel, but it's breaking up a good bit. Let me see if I can get some of that break up out of there. Oh, I know what it is. There's a pedal on. That's what it is. Okay. Yeah, I'm slumming with the Marshall. No, it's kind of opposite. I wanted to have something that was more of an all-around kind of regular amp to use tonight, so we could really start off with some things that didn't sound so hot, and then move our way into some better stuff. This DSL 50. It gets 4 tones. 4 good tones. And I'll go through them in a minute. Let's go through them now. One minute. So, let's see here. It's clean. For a Marshall, not a bad clean tone. It's a pretty good all-around clean tone, takes pedals pretty well. And then that's on, there's two channels. There's a green channel and a yeah, drop my camera. I'll get a stool that I'm sitting on, but there we go. Much better, much better. Thanks, Dean. How are you doing, Dean? How's everything been going? How was the holidays? So there's the clean. I was telling you how it's set up. So there's a green side and a red side. Cleaner side and a more distorted side. The clean side has two ways you can go. You can have this, which is kind of like a bassman clean. And then you have like an old 800 with a little bit of gain, still clean, more like an AC/DC type sound. You hear if it breaks up pretty bad, but really kind of a bluesy. Almost sound like it has a tube screamer to it, but it don't. That's the clean side. Now I'm gonna go ahead and switch it over to the lead side. So a little more distortion, more of a ZZ Top, those kind of things. And it'll get pretty distorted all the way up. This is that's as distorted as it'll get. And that thing, I guess they mean for like dirty rhythm, 80s type stuff. And then the last mode, once you hit the mode on that, it puts a mid boost on there, and it gets a little creamier. So those are the four tones that we got to work with. And I thought, just for fun, this could be a total failure. We'll see how it goes. You guys give me some tones that you'd like to hear. And with what we have here, so we've got the DSL-50 with those four tones. And we've got this assortment of pedals. Don't worry about the ditto, but we've got a BB preamp, TS9, and a EP booster. Then we also have a DS2. And so one of the things that is very common is if you already have a distorted sound, that you would use more of a tube screamer, or maybe an EP booster. And if you had a clean sound, you'd use more of like a distortion pedal, like a DS1 or DS2 or something like that. So we could maybe go through how those two things work together too. Doesn't look like a lot, but especially this pedal right here, the BB preamp, I can get a lot of different tones from it. It's super versatile, especially with this amp too. So let's see here. Let's go back to where we were before. Okay, so Coke says hides 15-year-old crate amp. Yep. Hey man, there's some good, you know, there's crate amps. There's some good ones, and there's some ones that could use a little help too, just like anyone though. So let's see. Evan says, "I bet Lee could guess for me what tone I want to hear." I have a good idea of that, Evan. It's good to see you, man. This is fun. This is fun. David says he'd like to hear little heavy power chord riffs, maybe like Black Sabbath. That'd be cool. Black Sabbath gets almost like a fuzz type tone. So if I was going to get a Black Sabbath tone with what I'm using right now, probably should pick up a Rat or like something like that, or a old fuzz, but probably use this. This can sound kind of fuzzy after a while. And let's see here. So we got one for Black Sabbath. Evan's one for Gilmore. I think, pretty sure that's where we're going with that. Let's see here. Evan says, so good to be back in the live stream with everyone. And Coke says, seeing this pop up on Facebook made me realize I'm boring as can be and trying to get a super clean, borderline gain, but mostly straight, clean goodness. Well, we can do that too. We'll get one of those kind of on the fence, a little bit of clean, and a little bit of when you dig in. I've also got my Les Paul ready to go too, so we can do both humbuckers and these. So for this, I've got Fralins. They're all Fralins, but two regular single coil. Let's see here. Regular single coil Fralins right here. This is more like a P90 type sound. And then back there, those are the DiMarzio, what are they, 36, forgive me. Yeah, they're the 36th anniversary. It was the set. So they're both straight the way that set, nothing fancy, just those are good humbuckers too. If you're looking for a not really expensive set. What I had in there was a Jeff Beck, a Duncan JB, and then the pickup that it came with in the neck. So let's see. Oh, we got some more. So we got a Satriani and Steve Vai vibe. Okay. Now I'm not running any delay pedals right now. Didn't have time to get that set up yet, but it's coming. Gilmore it is for Evan. Coke says, I'm drawing a blank on a tone I asked you about a specific song months ago. Lee, that's been a while. Evan says SRV. We can do that. That's definitely doable with this, what we got right here. So we got Sabbath, Satriani, Gilmore, Steve Vai, SRV, and we'll give Coke a few minutes. He's gonna find out. It's gonna come to him right there. So let's get started. Let's do Black Sabbath first. Let's see what I can do with that. So let's see. We're gonna switch to the distorted channel. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down the line with these pedals and see what we can do, and if we run out, we'll switch over to the distortion. So I'm gonna start off with this one right here, EP booster. All this is a boost, but it's kind of a creamier boost, It's from the design of a Echoplex, just the preamp from it. So, so this is where we're starting with, just regular. Now I'm running the P90 sound on this. We can switch to the Les Paul. So all we're doing is just slamming the front end. Well, when I slam the front of the amp, it gets a little fuzzy, but not really Black Sabbath type sound. I need 2 hands for this one here. All right, so here's the tube screamer. We'll see. All right, so I'm gonna gain all the way up. And for me, that's a no, because I hear that tube screamer mid hump on that right there. It's not what I'm going to do. So now here we go. Let's go to the BB preamp. Now I'm going to that to me almost sounds like a sound garden. Okay, so that's kind of, to me, getting in the ballpark. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch guitars and see what running a humbucker does for this tone. What's up, Joe? You warming up yet? All right, so let's see here. Okay, so I'm getting closer to Sabbath to me, where I've got my humbucker, my bridge humbucker going, and I rolled the tone knob down. So it's a little fuzzy because the BB preamp here, I got the gain up on 3 o'clock, pushing the amp pretty good. This has a lot of volume on it, so Even halfway up is pushing it pretty good. And it's got an active treble and bass right here. The treble's really pushing, and then the bass is about 1 o'clock. Let's see. And here's with the tone rolled up. If I roll it down a little bit, turn treble up. Actually, let's see what the... middle. I think that if I was going to do a Black Sabbath with what I have right here, I think the BB preamps where I'm going to go with that. Maybe even a little more bass, less high end. Put some fat on the amp. Okay. All right. So I think that's one there. What should I do next? Which one? What tone should we try to go for next? That one was saturated, over the top, a little bit flubby, a lot of low end pushing through the front of the amp. Let's see what else we have here. What was it? Oh, and Evan says, don't forget to like the video. That's right. A lot of those videos, we had a ton of people watching and not a whole lot of likes. And I'm about getting this YouTube channel going pretty soon. I want it to catch up to the podcast. So we do a lot of these. We've seen lately, I've been just putting the audio podcast out, but even on YouTube, and it's doing okay. It's doing okay. But we're going to push it a little bit more. Let's see here. So we got David with the heavy power riffs. Let's go with Cokes right now. A borderline clean, super clean, borderline gain, but mostly straight clean goodness. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to run the clean channel, and I'm going to run my clean boost just a little bit, just so it breaks up a little bit. I'm going to try, let's see. Let's go back to the Strat for this. Okay. All right, so here's the clean. A true clean to me is when you slam the strings and you're not getting a distortion, but you're hearing that it's right on the edge right there. So what I'm going to do, the EP booster, it's got a little compression in it too, which could probably help. Let's see how far we could get that going. So right about there at, what's that, like 10 o'clock. As soon as I go past 10 o'clock, really breaks up. So this is really touch sensitive now. Give it some reverb here a little bit more. See, it's already in the low end, it's breaking up. Let me get rid of some bass here. So you can go straight from a clean, just by rolling back a little bit, and then just roll up just a tiny bit. So let's see here. Going back to Coke's thing. Trying to get a super clean, borderline gain, but mostly straight clean goodness. So try to do this without rolling the volume. I'm going to try and do this all touch sensitive. Switch to major. Let's see here. I'm in B. Let's go to I'd like a little more gain. A little less reverb. Okay, so where we are right here, let me tell you what I've done. So I'm on the Bassman style clean on the amp. I've got mostly just power tube distortion. It's got two controls. It's got a volume control and it has a gain control. The volume control is up, almost cranked all the way. So I've got the power tubes going. You can't really tell how loud it is because of the isolation cabinet. But the gain is back on maybe about 1 o'clock. So I'm getting just a hint of that low end breakup from power tubes. These are EL34 power tubes. And when I dig in, some of the preamp is really starting to distort, and a lot of that's from this EP booster right here. It's only on a quarter of the way. It's on, I think off it's around like 7 o'clock, and this is at about 9 o'clock right here. This is a tone I'd use for like a blues or something like that, to roll back. You could use this for a whole night of music. Roll up. It's got that kind of wolf tones, bluesy kind of sounds. That's a neat one. So let's see here. Coke says, I just picked up my acoustic and strummed. I went, oh, that's so familiar, old song. What are you playing, the Link Ray song? I think it is. Let's see here. Rumble. Coke says, also that clean sound does sound great. Smudge too much reverb, I think, if that's what I'm hearing. But let me check the reverb out. Yeah. Also, when you crank this amp more, it hits the reverb harder. So if you have it set one way, let me get it. There we go. Maybe a little bit more. All right. He said, that's what it is. Everything's perfect. The reverb's distracting because it's noticeable. Done so bad. All right, so I've turned the reverb back. Yeah, I'm happy as a clam. It's actually not that loud in here, man. You can still hear it. It's Axe Track. I don't know if you guys have seen that. It's about like this big, and it's got a little tiny speaker in there that's cranked, but it's enclosed. It's pretty neat. It does put a little bit of a low mid to it. When I record with it, I kind of EQ that out a little bit. Let's see here. I did, man. I've been wanting to do this. You know, when you move, you always think, oh man, give me a couple weeks and I'll be up and running. I am up and running, but nothing's, you know, it takes months to get to get settled. We're still getting things. I remember. Let me see here. Let me get off the pedal cam for a second. Do you remember the furniture lost at sea? Well, the replacement furniture is still slowly coming in. So we've had a dining room table. We haven't had any chairs for the dining room table. Now we have chairs. So, little stupid things like that you get used to. Let's see here. Dave says, I think Lee's happy to have all his toys back. Yeah, I was mad about that crate though. I'm gonna have to clean that thing up. I was like, I'm not. It just didn't fare well in storage. But the Marshall did. Marshall did great. I've got another Marshall too. I've got the vintage modern that I might use next week. It was awful. I'm gonna check into that. It was a little noisy when I tried. I plugged it in a couple days ago. Evan says, I meant sound turned up. Agree on both points. Coke. Only said that because I wanted to sound louder. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, turn up a little bit. Yeah. Get a little bit loud. Yeah. Okay. This reverb's finicky. Okay, that's good. Okay, so what we've done is we've done a clean on the edge of breakup sound, and we've done a little Black Sabbath sound. Let's go for something. Let's see. We had a Gilmore tone. We had Joe Satriani and Steve Vai tone. Somebody said Skydog. I think when I picked my red Les Paul, we could do an Allman Brothers thing too. The reverb is perfect now. Okay, let's see. You guys pick what we want to do next. David asked a question. Lee, would you ever think of getting a modeling amp, like a Spark or a Boss Katana, to replace pedals? I play through digital stuff all the time for this, for like internet live streaming stuff, and I have tried it. I've tried it playing live with floorboards, but not like modeling amps. Like, actually, I did. I used to have a Line 6 modeling amp that I tried to play out with, and I never could get it to work quite right. Did better with plugging the board straight into the board than a modeling amp. And with that being said, if I'm in a situation where I have one and it's the amp that I'm going to play, I can make it sound good. I could do it. I'm familiar enough with them. If I have my choice to bring my own stuff, I'm going to bring tube amps every single time with pedals. There's just... then again, I've heard the Katana sounding fantastic, and also the Spark sounding fantastic too. So I'm still going to bring my amps and my pedals. If I had to, I'm still going to do that. But yeah, Evan wants to know, how's the Spark working for you? I'm curious, man. You've had it for a while now. I think don't we have both Evans? I think I saw. Yes. Hey Evan, it's great to have you back, man. I got your email probably about. I checked it a few minutes before we went on here, man. So it's wonderful to have you back. Good news that you're back, man. And I think Evan has the Boss amp, and it really sounds great every time I've heard him. Chris, which amp I think you might have one. I'm not sure. I know Chris has a lot of different stuff. What amp are you playing, Christopher? I'm curious. Evan says, "Good to be back." Yes, we'll start building back up again. We've had between 10 and 15 people today on a Friday night, and this is different because I'm doing some nighttime stuff. But it's really when I've got time to do it. We don't get. We're a little late for the UK for that, so I may do some different times throughout the week. And last week I did one. This week I'm doing one. I may do another one. Dean has a Spark too. That's right. What are you finding, Dean? What do you find you gravitate towards when you just sit down to play with the Spark? Do you go for like a distorted sound or a clean sound? What's your go-to sound? I'm doing this a lot today for some reason. Okay, so I'm gonna. As I'm waiting for Dean to answer, and let's see. Coke says, "Listen to Rumble privately in headphones if you can or can't recall that tone." Yeah, I can't offhand. So distinct. One of the few I can't figure out what's going on. Yeah, let's see here. I can't. If I listen to the way I have this set up right now, if I listen to anything, it goes back on the stream. But I will listen to it off the stream, and we'll figure that out. So let's see here. Evan says, "Sometimes being able to explore those sounds give you reason to play, so it's a motivator." Yep. Done that twice. And yeah, that's right. There's no looper in the Spark. I always find that floorboards and stuff that have loopers built in, they never loop long enough. It's always kind of another feature, and they don't really put the time in. On this Ditto right here, the Ditto X2, this loops for a really long time. I haven't ever had it mess up on me, and because sometimes you might do a 12-bar blues or something, a long chord progression, and you find you don't have enough time to get to the end of it. Let's see here. Dean says, "Clean," and I really like the backing tracks. Yeah, yeah, they're cool. I like the I've got bias amp in the box, and the clean sounds are really nice. They are. Evan says, "Yes, I have the Katana 50. Tried my first pedal, a TS clone. Haven't tried to see how different it is than the Katana TS, but like to be the ability to turn the pedal on and off." Yeah, they all do kind of the same thing. You lose a little low end, and you get a little bit of push in the mids. I'm going to use mine next. It's a couple Marshall tones that we could go for for a Gilmore type sound. I think we're going to do a Gilmore next. So let's see. David says, "A clean is great in the Spark, but some really cool heavy stuff for playing power chords." And Coke says, "How would a looper work on an amp?" Yeah, I think they would have a separate pedal. I'm pretty sure. Joe uses bias effects too. Coaching videos I'll have it on Rich Clean and just try the Gilmore setup. Sounds amazing. Yeah. To me, a Gilmore, he's got a couple sounds. He's got a like really over the top sound, but one of the things I always like about Gilmore is the what we did before. We went for a clean sound that when you dig in hard, it pushes into distortion. For me, the most effective Gilmore sounds are a light distortion, where when you let off of playing, really play light, and it cleans up, and that gives it's the Gilmore on the edge sound is more on the side of distorting than clean. Let's see here. Dean says, "I will use the looper in my Fender and play The backing tracks with the spark. Yeah, I could see how that would be cool to have 2 amps. If I could find a looper app, I could play a looper through the spark. Yeah. Dean uses the Vox. Yeah, I use Mark, one of the coaching students, Mark uses the little Vox. I think they call it like a Mini 5. It used to be called the DA5. And I used to teach with that amp, and I could get some really cool tones out of that little tiny. You can put D batteries in it and go play out on the street with it. It was a neat little amp. Timing wise, that's what I believe. I only use the Donner, so I don't know what other options are for loop timing. It's tricky. Yeah. Really, there's really a bunch of tones for Gilmore. Yeah. So we're going to try for one of them. Lots of sustain. That's right. Clean sustain, on the edge sustain, distorted sustain. He uses a lot of compressors. I don't have a compressor here, but we're going to give this a shot. We're going to do some stacking of pedals to get more of a Gilmore sound. And Dave says, I think using pedals gives you a better understanding of how tones work. Yeah, and it does, and it gives you options, a lot of options. Even when you have the pedal set up one way, it's options whether you use it or not too. But what it does is it also frustrates you, because you go into something thinking you're going to get this one sound, and you put it into one amp and it sounds one way. You put it into another amp, it sounds completely different. So the pedal and the guitar and the amp and the speaker are all kind of one thing, and if you change out any of them, it becomes completely different. So let's see here. What do we got? Marty's here. Hey guys, looper and foot switch would be nice for a spark. Yeah, have to jump back to my tube amp to do loops. Yeah, you could put the looper before the spark, but it's gonna change. It's gonna you can't do like it when you have pedals before a looper, and so it'll record the pedal, and then you can turn it off and layer on top of it with different sounds. They'll all be the same sound too. Marty's here. Hey Marty. And then it says, can't tell you how happy I am to be playing regularly again. Yeah, man, I'm glad you are. I hope you got everybody doing what you want them to do, so you can bring your guitar into work, right? Put your feet up. Do some supervising. All right, let's go for some like a Gilmore light gain type sound. Even like a John Mayer-y, but a Gilmore, more Gilmore too. So there's Marty says, been a long time since on Hangout. Yeah, I've been. It's just one of those things, man. It's like when you go through these little hiccups in life, I went to the basics. So let's see, last time we really did this, I was in that apartment and dealing with all that stuff, but I had time. And then since then, I've just been fighting to get the basics done. And so let's see, I've missed YouTube videos. I've missed sending my regular email out. I've missed social media completely. I've missed all of those things. But the basic thing was I'm getting a podcast out every week, no matter what my situation is. And that's what I've been kind of clinging to. So it was, where are we at? February of 2018 when I started, and it is now December 4th of 2020. Haven't missed one yet. So no matter what's going on, I still got a podcast out. A lot of times, especially lately, could be 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock on a Tuesday night when it has to be out by 3 o'clock. Maybe I'm working on it then. Maybe I'm not. You know? Let's see here. Oh, Evan's still working from home, right? So you can still put your feet up and supervise virtually, right? And Dave says loves to hang out at 8. Yeah, it's when I can do it. I thought we'd have a lot of fun with this. I thought we could do. I like to do some watch parties. You know, watch some classic guitar, even concerts on YouTube. Those things, where you guys could recommend a good band or a good concert or something like that, and you could share a link. And I wouldn't be able to broadcast it, but we could all start it at the same time. Maybe watch it on a separate screen. You know, just do things. Get some drinks or dessert or whatever it is that you do at night. And just do some hanging out. I always wanted to watch Spinal Tap with you guys. I thought that would be fun. I don't know who's streaming it, so maybe someday we'll do Spinal Tap. And let's see. So what we have, Evan will be, I'm sure there's a lot of Gilmore stuff you like to share with people. Marty does a lot of a lot of the stuff that I used to play a lot. A lot of like the Guns N' Roses, AC/DC Live. Live is a band that I used to play a lot. When Live was happening was when I was just turning 20, 21. I was just out in bars playing in cover bands and stuff like that. So I played a lot of that before. And Diggs having the group back together. Let me get some. Yeah, so we'll get to the bottom of this Rumble link ray. In fact, I'm going to look it up. I can't listen to it, but let's see here. All right, link ray's Rumble tone. Let's get to the bottom. Let's see what these people in the Les Paul forum have to say. These people are guessing it was a fuzz pedal and thought it was achieved through some sort of combo or preamp overdrive. One person says small tube, dimed, no fuzz. So there's contention about that. Let's see here. Okay. So a lot of them are saying like a Greta or like some small combo being okay. So here's somebody who looks like they know what they're saying. It says Rumble was recorded in '58, so there was no pedals at the time. The unique sound of this track came from close miking the amp, something else that hadn't been done yet, which is how the sound was produced live. When it came to recording in the studio, the track was still too clean, and of all things, stabbing a pen or pencil through the cone of the amplifier did the trick. Coke, go get a pen. We're gonna get this. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. I think the story goes, the engineer in the studio said, "Hey man, you're ruining your amp." And Link replied, "I don't care as long as I get the expletive sound," right? So this story, I hear a lot, but it's more an Ike Turner story. I hear that a lot, that he used to put holes in his speakers to get them to distort. So speaker distortion is a really kind of classic type sound. And the person who modern times has that speaker distortion type sound is Derek Trucks. He uses those pile speakers that are they'll distort at the drop of a hat. So he'll put those in. He's using them in everything, but he usually uses them in some sort of a Fender. And he's got tons of gain, and rolling down, it doesn't hit the speakers as hard. So So that's what they're saying. It was 58 holes in the cone of the speaker, close mic'd, is what this guy's saying. So let's see here. Let's go back to the chat here. So Evan says, almost like a proto-punk surf sound. He says, I thought I heard about the speaker cone. So go get a pawn shop amp and get stabby. So he said, look them up finally. Rockabilly, Surfer Rocks, how he's described, so I guess I'm close. Yeah. So it's probably a clean combo amp, and it's distorting in a different way. All right. Okay, so let's see here. David says, watch party for Steve Vai playing For the Love of God with full orchestra, one of the greatest things I've seen on YouTube. There are some phenomenal things on YouTube, and I've seen that. There's a few that I like to share too. I think it'd be fun. Okay, so let's go for the Gilmore right now. I'm going to let's get everything set back here. I'm going to, so I'm in the clean. All right, so I'm in the clean side with a little bit of breakup. Okay, so I'm a little more clean than distorted. I'm going to crank that up a little bit more. Scooter's here. Hey, Scooter. Scooter says, I slice my speakers in a hashtag configuration with a razor blade. I like to, on my speakers, I like to go the Halloween version. I like to cut jack-o'-lantern, the eyes and the mouth with the tooth hanging down. I find that gives very, very fine breakup, if you know what I'm talking about. Coke says, oh shoot, all I gotta do is stab my amp. That's way cheaper than expected. Link Ray, man. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. That works. What else could we do? Oh, there's so many ways. I like to do the smiley face again with the amp, but do half the speaker gutted all the way so that the bottom of the speaker just flaps. Oh, that would be awesome. It's good to see. Hey Scott, it's good to see you, man. Okay. So with the Gilmore stuff, it's more on the gain sides but rolling back. So I'm gonna roll back a little bit. And you could use the... Now what happens is, as you hear from this, I don't have enough sustain for Gilmore. Not enough sustain. So I'm gonna go to the sickly green pedal right here, the Tube Screamer. I'm gonna set it up 12 o'clock first. Let's see what 12 o'clock on everything does to this tone. It's a little too much, and it's a little muddy there. So what I'm going to do is Okay, so now I'm getting closer to it with the tube screamer, but it's too distorted, right? I'm not on the fence anymore, and I want to be on the fence. So there's a couple ways I can do that. I can lower the gain, the level on the tube screamer. See here. I'm close. I'm going to add a little more distortion. Wait, that's still a little more distortion. Okay, so without delay and without compression, although I am getting a little bit of compression out of the and without the right bridge pickup, which I'm going to pick up one of those, the Duncan, what's the Gilmore Duncan? I think it's like an SSL 5. Those are really cool. And if you listen to what's it, the Gilmorish? Yeah, there we go. There we go. He uses that SSL 5 and can really get some good David Gilmour tones too. So without all, everything that you need, let's try a little boosting. How about that? See if that adds a little bit of something to it. A little too distorted. I'm going to roll my volume. It's almost going more to a blues at that point. So I think Tube Screamer, let me try one more thing. I'm going to try the BB preamp and see if I can set it similar to the Tube Screamer. Let's see here. I like this. That's the one right there. So Marty asked, what's the red pedal? Evan said, ooh, that's good, right? That's the good stuff. This is called a BB preamp. It's Exotic Effects. Exotic makes both this EP boost. Here, let me. So here we are. This is called a BB preamp, and this is an EP booster. Both from the same company. I use a ton of their pedals, and what these do. This is, I guess, similar to a tube screamer in the fact that it can do light gain, but it will go. It'll get kind of. It'll get up to really pushing it. It's got a ton of volume, ton of level that you could throw into an amplifier. So if you're playing a Strat and you want to compete with a Les Paul, this is a good pedal to have too. And it's got an active treble and bass. So it's like a Swiss Army knife for me. I can do a lot. I can get a lot of different tones with this. Let's see here. If you want just a light tone without a. If you want to sound like you're playing a really small, tiny amp. Let's see here. When it takes the bass out, it really hollows out the tone. And as you bring I'm back to 12 o'clock on the bass. I'd like it somewhere around 3 o'clock. The low end that it adds is really cool for lead guitar. It fills the sound out without being a thump, a very thumpy sound, which with lead guitar, with rhythm guitar would be awesome. With lead guitar, not so much, you know. So so even when you're throwing some bass on there, here, if you're going for just like a blues amp sound. So let's remember what the clean sound was without this. Here, let me make it even cleaner. Okay, so that's a pretty clean. It's a pretty clean sound. So now I'm going to put the BB preamp on, and let's see all the different tones we can get from this thing. Okay, so I'm going to set it up like a tube screamer. So a tube screamer is going to suck some of the low end out. So I'm going to, at 12 o'clock, the treble, at 12, let's see here, 12 o'clock, the treble and the bass are passed through, right? Now I'm going to take some of the low end out, and I'm going to add a whole bunch of high end. And let's see if we get some. We're getting some Stevie Ray Vaughan. So it gives you kind of a tube screamery type sound. Let's say you don't want, they call it a BB preamp. It's kind of like a blues breaker or a Marshall type blues breaker. So it has an EQ curve similar to a Marshall. So let's see if we can get some Marshall sounds out of this. So I'm going to roll my bass pretty high, put in a whole bunch of gain. I'm going to more push this and add some Marshall gain back in there. So what it does, notice I'm playing faster there, it also makes tracking on the guitar. Most people don't think about that, but it really makes it easy. Have you ever played a guitar that just fought you? Or a sound that just fought you? It was hard to play the strings. This makes it super easy to play. It's one of my favorite pedals, and it works on all different types of amplifiers. If I was at a gig and I was using an old beat up amplifier that didn't sound that great, if I plug this into it, I'm going to get some sort of usable sound. And then so say okay, so say I'm like in AC/DC territory, I could hit a booster and get like a shreddy lead sound too, with a lot of it takes a lot of boost pedals really well before it as well. So okay, so we went we did a little cutting up of the speakers, and then we did a little Gilmore, and then I went into what the red pedal was and did some different things. Scott give me one of these, and he says, I use the EP with my classical to boost volume. Yeah, it boosts volume in a very nice way. It's not just, I used to use a micro vibe. Not a micro vibe, micro amp. MXR micro amp. It's the little white pedal with one knob on it. And that was a clean boost. That just, it was like a fader. You just were adding more of whatever it was. This says it's a clean boost, but it's not. It's got that Echoplex circuitry in there. It's really got a pillowy kind of sound, almost like a compression to it. So let's see here. Okay, so this is my bass tone right now. Let's see, let's do neck. Now I'm going to do noon with the EP booster on that. So it's going to boost my tone, but even if I don't play a whole lot, there's an EQ curve that it when I use the EP booster, sometimes it feels like it's almost wanting my guitar to start to feed back a little bit, even on a clean sound. It kind of pushes. It adds a really nice bit of sustain. It is bringing the level up more to like a Les Paul. But there's something else going on in there too, which is really nice. And even with chords, you hear the harmonics. I'm doing full bar chords. And usually with distortion, a full bar chord, it shouldn't sound good, but it's got some neat things going on. I can't really put my finger exactly what it is, but there's really, I could leave this on all the time. I could probably leave it on about here. Let's hear what that's doing. So this is about 10 o'clock. So I've got the EP booster on about 10 o'clock. And it feels good. Let's see what it's doing. So here it is with it off. So you hear that there's a big drop off in tone. And it's loud and it gets quiet. With the EP booster on, that's still adding some level. I'm going to go back a little bit more. Adding a ton of sustain. And even with complex chords where those, when you have a little bit of distortion, those harmonies, they kind of fight each other, it sounds nice. Let's see though. Even for like a country thing, that would be really cool. I'm gonna boost a little bit more of that. A little too much. Let's see here. Yeah, it's pretty neat. Pretty neat pedal. Okay, Kevin's here. Fashionably late. Hey man, we're just going. It's the evening. I got time. We're gonna hang out a little bit. Scooter's here. Marty's here. Both Evans are here. Coke's here. David's here. Man, we stay on long enough, we might get everybody back. How about that? Except for our friends. Oh yeah, Dean's here. I think Joe's here. I don't know, is Joe still with us or not? Let's see here. That may be everybody. And Chris is here. Yeah, we're missing our UK folks and maybe some of our folks in Europe. farther into Europe as well. What have you guys been listening to? Is there any good stuff you've been listening to? I've been looking for some new stuff. I've been listening to a lot of Van Halen, as you do when guitar players pass away. You kind of revisit those things. Mark's here. That's right. I thought I saw Mark earlier. How you doing, Mark? How was your holidays? I hope everything's going good. And Joe's still here. Awesome. Evan says, I'm generally shuffling on Spotify. My problem is, and this has been for a while, used to be from teaching guitar that I would find out about all the new stuff. Nobody's really looking to, play a lot of the new stuff. I get a little bit of the new stuff, so I don't really hear a whole lot of what's good out there at the moment. Kevin's back on Cornell Dupree. Fun stuff. Mark says, great. Had a great holiday. That's awesome. We did, my folks came down here, and it was odd. Hadn't seen them in a year. And, they're in their 70s, so we were socially distant, and we actually went places with them, socially distant. It's nuts. Just nuts, man. I'm about done with all this. Can you remember when we were doing all these in the summertime? I was staying in a whole lot. We've been going out a whole lot, and now I don't know. Things are getting a little back to the way they were before. So I don't know. I could have gone out today, but I figured I'm gonna hang out with these guys tonight. Let's see here. Also listening to some neo soul today. Cool. That's cool, man. Let's see. What is Scooter listening to? That's what I want to know. I want to know what Scooter's listening to. What's the good stuff? David says, I found a good artist, Nile Brosh album, Matter of Perception. Not familiar with them, but I'm going to write it down. I'm going to start a list. That's what I do. I make lists. Okay, so we got some new stuff. So Kevin said Cornell. For him, Cornell Dupree, some neo soul. Let's see here. David says Nile Brosh, if I'm saying that correctly. Coke says there's a Cornell Dupree video on YouTube. I'm gonna put that down too. Scott's been listening to Kebmo. Scott and I have been listening to Kebmo. Goodness gracious. Well, how long ago? Since Kebmo was Kebmo. Kebmo, I do the same thing. I have a cycle I do with him. I listen to his first album, and then I go, what's wrong with me? Why haven't I been listening to this all the time? That guy can play guitar, man. There's nothing. And then I start branching out into the other Monus, the Keb Monus, right? And then I start getting into later stuff and everything like that. And then I generally burn myself out. And then at some point, that song, that Am I Wrong? That'll come on when I'm, just going through channels or something like that. Or somehow I'll run into that, and then it starts it all over again. So I may be back on a Kebmo thing. Let's see here. Okay, so I got Kebmo down. I'm set, man. I got a bunch of stuff to listen to tomorrow. Okay. Did I get all the tones? I didn't do like a Joe Satriani, Steve Vai tone. We'll do that real quick. Okay, so there's two ways of doing this. So the Joe Satriani tone, I'm going to put in this this Boss pedal here. I don't have a patch cable, so I'll have to use one of these. All right. Liking this setup. I'm liking having the other camera here so I can see what's going on. I wish I had another one for the amp, or at least was able to put the amp in the same picture, but maybe we'll get there at some point. All right. So let's do the Satriani way of doing it. So Satriani will use a DS1, and if you use if you use this is a DS2, very similar. If you use it, there's two modes. There's the mid-hump mode and then just a regular one. It's pretty much a DS1. Okay? And he'll use kind of a broken up Marshall as a bass tone. Make sure I don't have any other pedals on. A little more broken up. And of course he's got a delay, which I don't have right now. He's going to be on a bridge pickup. And then he's going to get most of his distortion from the pedal. I don't like the way that's going. That sounded kind of smaller. Now the delay pedal adds a lot, but he's going to use a distortion in front of more of a clean Marshall. Let's see what it sounds like on a very clean Marshall. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Here we go. So that's a DS1 type pedal in front of a distortion. And you're going to get both the Steve Vai DS1 sound and the Joe Satriani sounds like that. But the other thing that they do is they'll use a distorted amp and boost it with a tube screamer. So let's hear what that sounds like. Okay, so I got my distorted amp, and I'm going to go 12 o'clocks on the tube screamer. Let's see. And so the tube screamer is going to make it really easy to play. It's going to get rid of some of that low end out of there, out of your way, make it really easy to track across there. All right, so let's see here. I missed a few things. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a few minutes, spend some time with the family before we go to bed. Let's see here. David says, let's see here. David says AC/DC new album, good, but nothing new. I haven't heard it yet. And Coke says, and been listening to New Funk, Wolfpack. I'm going to listen to all that stuff. Snarky Puppy, I've heard of. Thank you, Coke. All right. What do we got here? Mark here. Evan's got to run and walk the dogs. We'll see you, Evan. I'll see you soon, man. All right, Coach says, you know, kind of strange that foot pedals need hands and feet to operate. All right. All right. I'm gonna hit the road too in a few minutes. It's great to hang out with you guys again. We're gonna do a lot more of this as the weeks go. I'm gonna ramp up and do more and more. I did one last week. We'll see how the weekend goes. So maybe we'll do 2 or 3 of the week, and we'll just keep going back to the live stream schedule. It's great to see you guys. Kind of missing some of our UK folks too. Maybe we'll have to find a day where I could get to this a little bit earlier, but I like the nighttime stuff, just kind of hanging out with you guys. So if you have any ideas for some watch alongs, let me know. We can go do all that stuff. And tomorrow is coaching. I get to see all your videos, so make sure you guys send in your videos in for tomorrow. Okay. I'm going back just making sure I haven't missed anything. There's a couple times while I was playing there, I missed a few things. And Mark says, I came across a group called Dusty Dave and the Heart Attacks playing Boogie Chillin'. Now I'm binging on John Lee Hooker, yeah. Dusty Dave and the Heart Attacks. All right. Thanks, Mark. That's cool. All right. Let's see here. Scott says, although it's out of my box, I do enjoy your talent, my friend. Best to the rest of the family. Hey, man. We're just hanging out. And it's in your box, too, man. I've seen those Telecasters. I see what you do to those Telecasters. It's in there. I know it's in there. But you have a good one, man. It's good to see you, Scooter. Gotta run quick. Baby decides. Okay, man. Miss you too, Coke. Great to see you. Thanks, David. Great to see you too, man. We'll be doing this again sometime later on, either this weekend or sometime during next week. So, All right, everybody, have a great night. Good night to you too, Evan. Looking forward to your video tomorrow. And Joe says, sweet hangout session. Thanks, Lee. You rock. But hey, man, we're just having some fun. There's a lot more fun to be had. All right, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.